Get ready because it's time to take a look inside of the week that was Lake Forest College Athletics in this week's episode of Lake Forest College Sports Zone. Here is your host, Cam McGuire.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Lake Forest College Sports Zone, where we take you around the action, the Lake Forest College athletic community. I'm your host, Cam McGuire. Glad to have you back. And well, the spring season is underway and a lot of teams opened up action this past weekend. What do you say we start with the men's golf team who competed in the Jim Weatherby Invitational in Galesburg, Illinois, hosted by Knox. Well, the Foresters finished 7th out of 17 teams, and for one Forester, it was a very successful weekend. Junior golfer Jacob Krugman shot a 73 and then a 77, plus 6 combined for the tournament, finishing 4th individually, just 4 shots off the lead. And for the Riverwoods Illinois native, it was his 12th top 5 finish of his career.
Well, Jacob, a very successful tournament for you to start the spring. How would you evaluate it?
Mediocre at best. I didn't play my best golf, didn't play that bad, but at this level, you play decent, you just grind at it, you snatch out a couple top 10s like I've been able to do.
Senior Ricky Schmidt fired a 77 and an 81, while fellow senior Elijah Collins shot a 78 and 82. Joined now with head coach of the women's softball team, Joe Kinsella. And Coach, are you guys going to play this season or what? It's been an unorthodox start to this season. You've had 16 games, but 10 of them came on spring break. 4 of them came indoors, and then you've only played 2 outside, and you've had a lot of cancellations so far.
Yeah, it's been a tough go. You get all ready to go, and the team's primed and set and excited to get playing. And we were supposed to start our conference season on Saturday, and ended up losing 2 doubleheaders. So frustrating, but that's the nature of spring sports.
Well, this past weekend you're supposed to play at Lawrence on Saturday and then St. Norbert at home on Sunday, but those were canceled due to weather. And then when you finally get out there and play, it's going to be against Cornell, Grinnell, and Ripon. All 6 of those going to be on the road. Is that going to be a hard test for you guys?
There's no question it's going to be a hard test. I think all 3 of those teams are contenders to make the conference tournament. Cornell ended up winning the conference tournament last year and did well in the NCAA. So, and Grinnell returns the player of the year in the conference. So they'll be tough, and I think Ripon potentially has the best pitcher in the conference. So we really have our work cut out for us.
Well, Lake Forest has won 4 out of the last 5 Midwest Conference regular season championships, and you guys bring a lot back from last year. You bring back 3 first-team all-conference selections and then 3 second-team selections. Who are a couple players to keep an eye on this year?
I think probably the prime 2 with Maria Zepeda in center field. She's our leadoff hitter, and her on-base percentage, she's on base, better than probably pushing 60% of the time. So she's always going to be impact offensively and defensively. I don't think I've ever had anybody that covers as much ground in the outfield. So she's an impact player for us. And then Missy Diekman-Meyer, our junior all-conference pitcher. She's took us to the tournament last year, along with a great supporting cast of pitchers. But she's our number 1 right now, and has been pitching really well. So look forward to seeing how she competes in the coming weeks.
Well, 4 pitchers back on the roster, 6 starters from last year's squad back on the roster, and a 1.95 ERA last season, lowest in the conference, batting average of .306. You guys hit 32 home runs. That was first in the conference. What's kind of the identity of this team? Because it seems like, the pitching is very good, and then so is the hitting.
Yeah, it's right. Our bats have been a little bit cold so far this year. We've hit in fits and spurts, but nothing consistent. So, I think the surprise has been how good our defense has played. I think the first few days out down in Florida, it's the first time you're out in the dirt, and that we had some rough spots defensively. But boy, the last 6 or 8 games, our defense has really risen to the occasion along with our pitching. So hopefully that can hold us and carry us through. I think our bats will get going. We've got a lot of bats to work with, and sometimes just have that rough start. So that'll come around. I have confidence in. But I've been really impressed with our defense the last couple weeks.
Well, not to get ahead of ourselves with the Midwest Conference season hasn't even started yet, but look at the NCAA tournament. It's a tournament you guys have had your hand in a lot in the last couple of years. What's going to be the biggest factor to get back there this year?
We've really scheduled a non-conference schedule that is just riddled with NCAA tournament teams. Illinois Wesleyan and Whitewater and Rowan and Linfield. We're really set up to face a number of teams that are going to give us that playoff feel and that playoff competitive level. But at the end of the day, we have to win our conference, and you win your conference tournament, and that's your ticket to the show. So we hope we can punch a ticket at some point, but we haven't even played a conference game yet. So it is getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but that's the goal, and we've been 4 of the last 5 years, and so they've got a taste of it. And hopefully our non-conference schedule has given us that feel of that level of play, and the teams in our conference are going to come in and give us that competitive edge, hopefully, to get us ready for it.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for your time today. Look forward to speaking with the rest of the season, and we'll keep an eye on that schedule. Hopefully you guys can get back out on the field soon.
Keep your fingers crossed.
It was a busy weekend for the men's tennis team this past weekend, who had 3 home matches, and for the Foresters, first of a doubleheader against Cornell when they would prevail 5-4. Sophomore Aiden Burke and junior Chase Garber won in number 2 doubles convincingly 8-3. Lake Forest lost their other 2 doubles matches, but then it would be rally time when it came to singles. Cornell won number 1 and number 2 single, but senior Joe Bove came out in number 3 singles, winning 6-3 and 6-4. And then the rally really started to happen when the Foresters were down 4-2, but singles victories from sophomore Brant Christensen and freshman Matthew Pulowski. But the single win that was eventually ended up winning the whole match came from junior Chase Garber.
Chase, was a dramatic win for you in that one against Cornell. You won the first set 7-5, then the second set you lost in a tiebreaker. The third set there were 3 deuces, and then eventually you clinched the victory for your team. Talk about that one a little bit.
It was a tough one. I was up 5-2 in that second set that I ended up losing, so that was heartbreaking, and I had to regroup going into the third set and try to get my head straight. But I went into that third set. I actually went down a break, so he was up 3-2 serving, so real nerve-wracking, but thankfully I was able to pull it out. It's the longest match I've played in I don't know how long, but yeah, it was a great feeling to get that victory.
Was there any added pressure? Did you know that you had to win that match to clinch it for your team, or did you honestly have no idea?
As dumb as it kind of is, I did not know, which you only play a full third set in conference if the match isn't decided, so I should have known. But I'm new to the team, so I did not know that rule, so thankfully the added pressure wasn't there. I don't know how I would have handled that, honestly, but thankfully I didn't have to worry about it.
Well, the same day, Lake Forest would manhandle Knox, winning 8-1 on Saturday. Unfortunately for the Lake Forest men's tennis team, they would fall to Grinnell on Sunday, the team that was picked to win the whole Midwest Conference when it comes to men's tennis. Well, switching over to the women's tennis side of things, well, they were in action on Friday, taking on North Central College when they had a 7-2 win at Lake Bluff Racquet Club. The Foresters won 5 out of their 6 single matches and 2 out of their 3 double matches. Sophomore Emma Wang earned her 20th straight singles victory this season, staying perfect at number 5 singles. Speaking over to the track side of things, well, the men's and women's track team opened up their outdoor season this past weekend at Augustana, competing in the 78th annual Vikings Olympics. Top performers from the weekend came from junior Philip Wilson, who finished 7th in the 5,000-meter run with a time of 15:29.91, which was the best outdoor performance in school history. Sophomore Yaneli Guajardo was one of 8 runners to break 5 minutes in the women's 1,500-meter run, finishing with a time of 4:57.58, which ranked 5th among 72 runners in the event. Well, that's all the action that happened last weekend. Let's look ahead right now to the action that will happen this week, starting with the men's golf team Friday and Saturday, competing at the Illinois Wesleyan Invitational at Ironwood Golf Course in Normal, Illinois. The men's tennis team will be in action on Saturday on the road against Illinois College at 9 a.m. and then at Monmouth at 3 p.m. For the women's tennis team, in action on Sunday at Carthage, taking on Concordia, Wisconsin at noon, and then Carthage at 3 p.m. Track also back in action at the Wheaton Invitational at 11:30 a.m. And the softball team finally looking to play, which would be just their 3rd game outdoors this season. Saturday at Grinnell, doubleheader, 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. And then Sunday at Cornell, 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. Well, that's all the action that took place this past weekend and with Lake Forest Athletics, and we just previewed the upcoming week That is going to be Lake Forest College Sports. For myself, Cam McGuire, thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your week.